So, once Blomkvist and Lisbeth officially team up, things start moving fast. They decide to go back through everything Blomkvist has on the Vanger family, every photograph, every diary entry, every little scrap of evidence. And that's when Lisbeth notices something that Blomkvist missed.
What did she find?
In one of the old photographs from the day Harriet disappeared, Lisbeth spots a man standing in the background. He's partially obscured, but Lisbeth, with her sharp eye for detail, realizes that this man shows up in several different photos taken from different places. It's subtle, but he's there.
So someone was following Harriet that day?
Exactly. And what's crazy is that no one ever mentioned this guy in any of the interviews or police reports. It's like he was invisible to everyone, except Lisbeth. This gets them thinking, what if Harriet wasn't just a random disappearance? What if she was running from someone?
That changes everything. Do they find out who the guy is?
Not right away. But Lisbeth, being the hacker she is, starts digging through old archives, digitized police records, and even hacked into private databases. She finds a name, Gottfried Vanger, Martin Vanger's father, a man with a very dark history.
Wait, Martin Vanger? Isn't he one of the family members Blomkvist is staying near?
Yep. And that's when things start to get dangerous. They realize they might be poking at something that someone really doesn't want uncovered. Blomkvist starts noticing his house being watched. He hears footsteps outside at night, and then his car. Someone slashes his tires.
Whoa, so they know he's digging too deep. Why not go to the police?
Because they have no solid proof yet. Just suspicions, a name, and a bunch of circumstantial clues. And Blomkvist knows the police could tip off the wrong person. So he and Lisbeth decide to push forward, even though they know they're putting themselves in real danger.
This is insane. Are they at least getting closer to figuring out what happened to Harriet?
Very close. They start piecing together that Harriet might have discovered something horrible about her family, something so dark she either ran or was silenced. And as Lisbeth and Blomkvist keep digging, they start finding financial records that don't add up. Offshore accounts, hidden transactions. It looks like someone in the Vanger family was financing some seriously illegal activities.
This is more than just a missing person case now.
Exactly. And as they get closer to the truth, something changes between them. At first, Lisbeth kept her distance. She doesn't trust people easily, and Blomkvist was just another job. But after they survive a break-in at Blomkvist's cottage, something shifts. They realize they're in this together now. Trust starts to build, though it's fragile. Lisbeth still keeps her guard up, but Blomkvist earns her respect by not pushing her to open up, by letting her work her way.
So they go from uneasy allies to, actual friends?
Something like that. There's mutual respect and a shared determination to take down whoever's behind all this. But the closer they get to the truth, the more dangerous it becomes. They're not just uncovering a missing girl, they're unraveling a conspiracy that someone is willing to kill to keep secret.
I've got chills. What happens next?
All right. So as Lisbeth and Blomkvist keep pulling at the threads, they start focusing more on Martin Vanger. At first, he seems like just another member of the family, wealthy, influential, and a little cold, but nothing alarming. But the deeper they dig, the more disturbing things get.
What do they find on him?
Well, for one, Lisbeth finds old police records that were never part of the original investigation. Turns out, Martin's father, Gottfried, had a history of abusing women. There were whispers about disappearances, but nothing was ever proven. And the scary part? Martin was very close to his father, almost idolized him.
That's disturbing. So Martin was raised by a monster?
Exactly. They start putting together a timeline. Every few years, around the same time Harriet vanished, there were unsolved cases of young women going missing or turning up dead. Different cities, different circumstances, but the pattern is there, and it points to the Vanger family estate as a common thread.
Wait, so there's a pattern of murders connected to the Vanger family? That's not just a coincidence.
At first, they think maybe Gottfried was responsible, but then they find something terrifying. After Gottfried died, the disappearances didn't stop. They kept happening, and that's when they realize it wasn't just the father. Martin had picked up where his father left off.
Oh man, so Martin wasn't just influenced by his father. He continued what he started?
That's right. And Martin's smart. He's careful. He hides in plain sight, running the family business while living this double life. And Blomkvist, still staying on the Vanger estate, starts sensing that Martin knows he's getting close. The tension ramps up, locked doors, strange noises, and then one night, Blomkvist's cabin is broken into. Nothing's stolen, but it's clear. Someone's sending a warning.
That's insane. So they know Martin's dangerous and he knows they're onto him. Why not get out of there?
No, they're in too deep. Blomkvist knows the police won't believe him without solid evidence, and Lisbeth, she doesn't trust the police at all. So they decide to stay quiet and gather more proof, but the more they uncover, the clearer it becomes that Martin isn't just dangerous. He's a killer who's been getting away with it for decades.
This is beyond intense. They're basically playing with fire at this point.
It's terrifying. They start finding connections to even more victims, and Lisbeth, digging through Martin's financials, uncovers something wild. Offshore accounts, transactions that suggest he was involved in even darker activities than they thought. This isn't just about murder. It's a whole hidden life of corruption and control.
What kind of darker activities are we talking about here? Just how deep does this go?
Well, Lisbeth tracks some financial records showing huge amounts of money flowing through offshore accounts, money linked to companies with ties to illegal activities, even trafficking. It's the kind of thing that's hidden so well, most people wouldn't even know where to start looking.
Wait, trafficking? Are you saying Martin might be involved in something like that?
It's not outright confirmed, but the clues are chilling. Lisbeth also finds old reports of violent incidents connected to properties Martin owns, disturbing stuff that was quietly swept under the rug. Blomkvist, meanwhile, starts putting together a timeline and notices that every time Martin travelled internationally, there were missing persons cases in those same regions.
That's more than a coincidence. So now they think he's a serial killer?
The suspicion's definitely there, but they don't have proof, just patterns and coincidences. Still, Lisbeth's instincts are sharp, and she's convinced they're onto something real. But what makes this terrifying is that Martin knows they're investigating him.
How do they figure that out?
It starts small. Blomkvist notices his emails are being monitored. Lisbeth's computer gets a virus that's clearly a targeted attack. And then, one night, Blomkvist is followed home. The intimidation tactics start ramping up, but instead of backing off, they double down.
Why wouldn't they go to the police at that point?
Because they know if Martin really is behind this, he's powerful enough to make evidence disappear. They need to catch him red-handed, and that means playing a very dangerous game.
This is insane. They're basically walking into the lion's den.
Exactly. And at this point, it's not just about Harriet anymore. It's about stopping a monster before more people go missing. So, after realizing Martin might know they're onto him, Blomkvist and Lisbeth decide to start watching him more closely. They take shifts, Lisbeth tracking his online activities and Blomkvist keeping an eye on him in person. It's exhausting, but they know they're getting close to something big.
That sounds incredibly risky. Does Martin notice?
At first, no, but then weird things start happening. One morning, Blomkvist wakes up to find a dead animal on his porch, a clear warning. Lisbeth, meanwhile, notices that someone's been remotely accessing her encrypted files. She's good, but this person, they're almost as skilled as she is.
So now they're not just watching Martin, he's watching them too?
Exactly. And it's a terrifying realization. Lisbeth starts digging even deeper, hacking into Martin's private servers, and what she finds is even worse than they imagined. Hidden folders filled with disturbing videos and encrypted communication logs with anonymous contacts. It's not just about the murders anymore. There's a whole network.
A network of what, like other people involved?
That's the chilling part. It looks like Martin wasn't working entirely alone. Some of these encrypted messages suggest there were partners, people who knew what he was doing, maybe even helped cover it up. The question is, how deep does this go?
Okay, that just made this 10 times scarier.
Subscribe for more content.